Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Thanks for joining me this morning. I am jumping on live today to demonstrate 4 cards using our Velvet Meadow collection. And I actually made these cards quite a while ago, and I've had them sitting here on my desk for probably a month, waiting to come on and do a video. But I guess I've just been so busy that I've been doing all kinds of different videos and demonstrating all kinds of stuff. So I've been having lots of fun. I'm just on my computer, just trying to make sure that I'm live, and it looks like we're good to go. Okay, guess I should get my arm out of the way. So if you are watching live, say hello. And if you watch on the replay later, then just let me know you watched on the replay. I'm going to go ahead and jump in. So as I mentioned, what I'm going to demonstrate today is 4 cards using our Flowering Meadow stamp set and our coordinating dies that go with it. I'll move the camera up for a minute so you can see better. So this is called Flowering Meadow, and you can get both the stamp set and the dies. Set that aside. And then it also has this gorgeous paper, and I know I showed this paper once before, but I'm going to pull some of these pages out and show it again. This paper has like flocked velvet on it, so every sheet has, and it's so hard you just can't see that, but this white is all like flocked velvet, so it's raised and it's super soft. And then we've got this sheet here, and all of the little insides of the flowers have the flocked velvet, and this is what's on the other side, and then the other side of that one. So you've got some really nice neutral colors. That's the same piece I just showed you. This piece is so pretty, and almost the whole entire pattern is the flocked velvet, and that is the back side. And then you've got this here. Some of these white flowers on here are the velvet, so there's just a little bit on this piece. And then some more neutral cloud cover pattern. This one, pretty much anything, well, not everything that's white. These white flowers are not, but there's all kinds of little flocked velvet going on here. And the other side, and I feel like I'm missing, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am missing one piece, and I'm guessing it's this one. Yes, it's this one. This one is so pretty. And again, got the flocked velvet going on. And then on the other side is just a very neutral color. So this is the paper we'll be using today on our cards. I'm just going to set that aside. And we'll jump in on card number 1. And I'll bring the camera back down a little bit. Sorry if that's making you dizzy. Tried to do it as smooth as possible. This collection also has these really beautiful flowers that come with it. And they are called Dreamy Flowers. So we will be using some of those today as well. So let me go ahead and jump in on card number 1 here. This one, I'm going to just try to set it in the corner there. Get out all my pieces. And we'll start with just the basics here. So our card base is going to be cloud cover. It is a piece of cardstock that's cut in half, scored in half. And I've got a piece of white cardstock to go on the inside. We are matting a piece of our flocked designer paper on this, what is it? Peaceful Pine cardstock, which is one of our new in colors. So pretty. And we're going to be using some of the coordinating ribbon that goes with that. We have one little piece of stamping to do, and that is just to stamp our words. And we are going to use our Peaceful Pine ink. These are our new ink pads that are magnetic. You can kind of see they are in here. They kind of click together. You can actually stack them on top of each other as well. I'm going to just set this so that you can see the ink pad and see my stamping. And we are going to get out the Celebrate. Let's see, so many reasons to celebrate. This new ink pad is linen. So unlike our foam, where our foam you could just tap and you would really get a good coverage, sometimes with the linen you have to smudge a little and then tap. It's kind of a little bit of a learning process, but you will absolutely love the new linen. We used to have linen a long time ago and they were my favorite for sure. So we're stamping that. And I'm going to close that up and move that out of the way. And then for the flowers on the card, we are actually using this designer paper page here, this sheet, and we're going to cut out some of these flowers to use on our card. And so you can kind of see I've got this piece here, and we're going to go in and we're going to fussy cut. Now, I feel like fussy cutting is one of those polarized topics. So how do you feel about fussy cutting? Do you love it, hate it, indifferent? I actually really enjoy fussy cutting. I don't know why. I just feel like it's somewhat just relaxing. I don't know, but I know not everybody thinks that. But you can see these are pretty easy. It would have been great. I know what's funny. This one, there's a die that goes with it. That's okay. There's not a die that goes with the other one, so we'll just fussy cut them both. But there is a die that goes with that one that would have cut that out for me. But I like fussy cutting, so it doesn't matter. So there's that. This one does not have a die, so we'll go in and get that cut. See, like I said, it's been like a month since I made these cards. And they've just been literally sitting on my desk in my little container to demonstrate at some point. But I keep getting caught up with other products and demonstrating other stuff because there's just always so much to demonstrate and just honestly not enough time. Plus you guys probably don't want to see me demonstrate every day. Maybe do, I don't know. So here we go. We've cut the flowers and we are ready to go ahead and assemble our card. So we're going to start with the matte piece first with the ribbon, and I am actually going to use some of our Stamp and Seal adhesive. We're going to adhere our designer paper to our mat. Again, our mat is in Peaceful Pine, which is the new in color. I'm trying to determine if there's like a up and down. And then I have two pieces of ribbon. So I've got the longer piece that I'm going to actually tie a bow. And if you place an order and get the card kit to go for free, I actually pre-tie your bows for you when I can. Sometimes it's not feasible, but that will be pre-tied. So then we're going to add our other piece. This is like a trick on ribbon here. We're going to just add our other piece of ribbon. We're going to wrap it around and adhere it on the back to that Stamp and Seal that I put on the back. It's just a way that you can use, in theory, use less ribbon than wrapping the ribbon like all the way around and tying the bow. And honestly, I just think then it's easier because it's much easier for me to tie the bow separately. So we are going to add that to our card base, and our card base is cloud cover. So we're gonna give it a good score. And because I have the ribbon on here, I'm actually going to use some more Stampin' Seal to adhere it to the card base. And I need some dimensionals. You can see I use every bit of my dimensionals. So put this tag on, I'm going to lift it up with dimensionals. And because I'm going over this ribbon, I'm actually going to put dimensionals on the back side, top and bottom, so that it doesn't go on top of the ribbon. So see, then when I put that over the ribbon, it attaches to the card and not to the ribbon. Before I glue it down though, I do want to get this piece in place. So I'm going to just add a little bit of our glue. Just a couple dots is really all you need so that we can get that in place where we want it. And then we can add this piece by taking off the backing. If you're watching, don't forget to say hello. Put that in place. And we want to add this other flower that we fussy cut out. This just goes over here. To add our bow, we're first going to cut our ends. So that we have it the length we want it. And then we're going to use a mini glue dot. And we're going to just set our bow on top of the glue dot. And then we just set that right on here. And it just gives it the impression that you tied a bow with one big piece of ribbon, but see how much easier that really was to do it that way. All right, last but not least, we need to add our embellishments. So we are going to come in with our little flowers here. And we are using a white flower to go in the center of this flower here. Got one kind of hiding over here. I'm gonna see if I can use it. Kind of came off, so there we go. That goes there. And then we're gonna use the pink. We're gonna use a large of the pink. And I remember these. These are really thick, so they're a little bit more challenging to work with. So it's easier if you use the pointed end of your take your pick tool to get it on there. And there you have it. The first card is finished. Super quick and simple. Oh, it's finished except for I forgot to put the inside in. So I'm gonna just add some glue here so I can add my white on the inside. This just makes it easier to write on the inside of the card. You don't have to do it like with lighter colors. This color, even the cloud cover, you could, in theory, not add the white on the inside. I just feel like it finishes it off. All right, moving on. We're gonna start on card number 2. This one is actually super simple because honestly the designer paper does most of the work for us. So I'm gonna just empty out my little envelope of supplies here, and I'm gonna show you on the dies. There's this leaf die here, and I used that leaf die to cut out some leaves that are cloud cover and white. I also used our dies, one of my favorites. I talk about this die all the time, this die set. This is Stylish Shapes, so I used this smallest die here to cut out our banner. Set that aside. And we are going to do some stamping. We're actually going to do some embossing, heat embossing on this one. So we're going to set this here. I've got my heat embossing supplies. I've got my embossing buddy, which I'm going to just go over the paper to remove the static. I have my Versamark ink pad, and we're using the word thanks. So we're going to just ink up thanks. Put it on our tag. Now, if you have the dies at home and you're making this, it's a very small die. It's a very small banner. So I would highly recommend that you probably stamp and then die cut afterwards. But if you receive the kit from me, you're going to get these pieces die cut already. So I'm just showing you how you will do it. So I'm going to come in with my little tool here to hold that so that I can add my embossing powder. There we go. I'm going to keep it on that tool because it's such a small piece that we want to make sure that we don't burn ourselves. All right. Are you kind of a clean as you go, or do you clean at the end? Because I'm a clean as you go kind of girl. I don't like to leave a mess. I'm sure everybody's different. I just like to clean as I go. So I'm going to come in with my heating tool. We're just going to do this until the embossing powder starts to change. I don't know if you can see that on the right side, how it's really shiny, and on the left side it's not yet. And there we go. That is set and ready to go. Oops, sorry, bumping the camera. And then we can release it. I am bumping the camera like crazy right now. Sorry about that. Just get that out of the way. Okay. We are ready. We are ready to assemble because this is a really quick and easy card. So I have a piece of the designer paper and I've cut it to 4 inches by 5 1/4, I believe. 4 inches by 5. And we are going to mount that on top of a piece of cloud cover that is 4 inches by 5 1/2. And then that will go on top of just a regular card base in white. Now, I say regular. It is only 4 inches wide versus 4 1/4. So it is a little bit different, but it's still just a regular piece of white. Oh, that's a lot of glue. Spread that out a little. That was a lot. There you go. So I love when the designer paper does all the work for you, which is what this designer paper and this whole pack really does all the work for you. I'm going to add that to the card base. And then we're going to add our leaves that we cut out earlier. And I am going to use glue dots for this. So we're just going to come in and pick up a glue dot. Maybe 2. One's probably sufficient, but I just realized I don't think you can see me doing the glue dots, so maybe you can. And we're going to come up here and add a flower there, a leaf there. We're going to pick up another glue dot here. And glue dots are great to work with. You do have to be gentle with them. You don't want to just put this on here and then like rip it off. You want to take it off gently, or else you'll you'll rip your cardstock. So we're gonna come in here, and we've got 2 more. Sometimes I find it's just easier when I'm working with the glue dots to tear off a piece of what I need, just because it's, you know, wound up in a circle, so it just doesn't lay flat if you don't. So I've got 1 glue dot here, and I've got another one down here. You really could get away with just 1, but I just want to make sure it doesn't fall off the card at any point. Hi Jody, I just saw your comment. This is not one of our kits per se. This is a card kit that I have made up, so it is free if you place a $40 order with me. And I can add some more info to that later, so that you like, it doesn't come with all this stuff. So it's not like our card kits that come in a box that have all this stuff. This is different. This is a card kit that I'm creating at home that that you would still need, like the stamps and the ink at your house in order to finish it. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to come in here and get some more dimensionals. You can see I'm using up the end of this sheet. I like to use every bit of it. No need to waste any of it. And we're going to add the thanks. The reason we put that on dimensionals, it's just easier to, honestly, to get it in here with all of the leaves below it. And then we just need to add some flowers. So we're adding pink flowers. We're going to do a large pink flower. And you'll notice that this designer paper sheet's just slightly different than this one. It doesn't have this piece here, and that's just because I cut this from a whole sheet. And you can get 6 of these out of a sheet, but they will all vary slightly. So I will actually show you what I mean. Because I'm a visual person, and I think most people are visual people, so let me just show you what I mean. This is what the entire sheet looks like. Let me just lift this up for a minute. And there we go. So you can see, I'll just show you half here. I would come in and cut this at 6 inches because it's 12 inches wide. And then you cut these at 4, so you get 3 different on each side. So you can see how they're just all going to be slightly different, but still beautiful. Okay, so that is card number 2. Moving on to card number 3. Let me bring my camera back down a little bit so you can see the detail a little bit better. And we are going to do some stamping on this one. So let me get out. I'm looking for, I think this is it. I think this is what I'm looking for, yes. We're going to use a sponge dauber on this one. So I'm going to get out my foam mat and my grid paper. And I just dropped one of my little pieces on the ground. But there should be more little pieces somewhere. I may have to cut some out. Okay. I don't know where the other little pieces went. And I need some white scrap paper. So we are going to start by using this floral stamp. And we are going to use, see if everything's in the camera. We're going to use our Bubble Bath ink, and we're going to use that to ink up this stamp set. And you know me, I always like to test it. All right, so that is inked up. Then we're going to take our Melon Mambo ink, and we're going to take our sponge dauber, and we're going to add some ink to our sponge dauber, and we're going to come in on the edges to just add some color to the edges. And then we're going to stamp that. And then you get the two-tone color. And as you can see, no two cards are ever the same. I probably re-inked my ink pads after I made these original cards. Because usually when I'm making cards, I realize that my ink pads are dry and I need to add more ink. And then we've got the little flower centers. We're going to use Melon Mambo again. And this is just going to add to the center of the flowers. We're going to get out our Peaceful Pine ink pad, because we need some of the leaves and a stem. So we're going to come in and use this stamp. This is our stem. And then our leaves. Oh, I didn't ink that up very well. Great thing is there's always more paper. That's better. Okay. Just gonna move that out of the way. Then we're going to do some die cutting. Actually, let me go ahead and finish the stamping real quick, and then we'll do the die cutting, because I just need to add the words. This one is "You Always Make Me Smile." And I have this little piece here. And we are using Melon Mambo. The cool thing about this card, collection, this Velvet Meadow collection, is that sometimes the designer papers kind of force you to get out of your comfort zone. I don't usually use Bubble Bath or Melon Mambo, but because they're a part of the designer paper, kind of forces you to step in and use the colors that they use so that it all coordinates. And I'm actually laughing at myself right now because I'm pretty sure I was supposed to be using Berry Burst, not Melon Mambo, but that's okay because the Melon Mambo still looks really good too. I've lost my, oh, they're right there, my scissors. We're going to come in and just trim the edge of this. And now we're ready. Yeah, it's supposed to be Berry Burst, but we're going to just stick with the Melon Mambo. This is what happens when you design the cards a month ago and you didn't make any notes. So that's on me. I'm going to die cut these, so I need to make this piece a little smaller so that we can get it through our machine. And I'm going to show you how we die cut it. So we've got this die cuts out the stems. This die cuts out the leaves. And then this die cuts out the two flowers. Or you could, fussy cut them as I did in the last card, because I forgot that we had a die that worked with it. So I'm going to just line that up and use a little washi tape. Hi, Trish. Thanks for watching. Isn't this paper just gorgeous? It's actually like the kind of paper that I would sometimes hoard because you don't want to use it because it's just so pretty. Like you don't want to use it up. But that was the old me. I don't hoard designer paper anymore. Now I like to use it. So I just buy more if I use it all. All right, so I'm going to bring in our mini embossing machine, and I'm going to move this up a little so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So we've got our number one. This is our base. We've got our first cutting pad, and we have our dies and our second cutting pad. So that's our sandwich. And then I'm gonna run this through and hopefully it doesn't shake things too much. There's a leaf, our flowers, oops, and our stem, and then we need to cut out one more leaf. So I'm gonna take these other dies off. I'm gonna just make this piece a little smaller to work with. And then we're gonna line up our die again for the other set of leaves. Create our sandwich and run through our machine. If you're not familiar with our machines, we have two. We have, this one's the mini, and then we have our regular size. And I use the regular size most of the time, but the mini is great if I can use it for just showing you how to use the machine on camera, just because it's smaller. What I love about both of them is they fold up. And they have this handle, and they're super lightweight. So I'm gonna set that aside. I'll bring this back down. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy with all of the moving of the camera, because we are almost ready to assemble. We have some more stamping to do, I just noticed. I'm gonna get my foam pad back out. And some crumb cake ink, and then I have this other little stamp here that is just like some more leaves that we're gonna just use the crumb cake and come in, just add a few just gives it a little bit more of a background. This is a piece of bubble bath, and I have cut this out using our party banners dies, and you can see it comes with 14 of them. Oh, there's quite the halo. I hate that. Like, it's a necessary evil. I need the light, but I don't want the halo. So let me just pull this out a little bit so you can see. There we go. So it comes with 14 different sizes of dies, and this one is somewhere right around that size. So you can just see like how big that is. Like this foam mat, the largest is almost the same size as that foam mat. It's such a great set to have on hand because there's just a lot you can do with it. You can really make a lot of banners. And so the foam mat's, you know, 9 by 6.5. So that largest one is almost 9 by 6.5. All right, so now we're ready to do some assembling. For this one, we have a white card base, and again, this one we cut this to 4 inches versus 4 1/4. So it is 5.5 by 4 inches. And that is because we're maximizing the use of our designer paper by cutting this to 4 by 5.5. And we're gonna add that just onto the front. I'm losing little pieces everywhere. We're just gonna come in with our glue. 5 dots, that's all you need. Line that up. For the banner, we're actually going to use some dimensionals. We might be about to use up the last of this sheet of dimensionals. I don't like to waste any of it. It is my favorite embellishment. I use it on almost every card, if not every card. It just provides a nice little pop on the card, which is fun. So we're going to come in and take the backing off. If you have trouble getting the backing off, you can take your fingernail if you have them and push it down in here. And when you do that, it like raises it up, makes it easier to get off. You can also take your pick tool, use the little pointy end and get it off, but I just use my fingers most of the time. All right, we're going to add this to the front. And then we're going to start adding the pieces. I'm still laughing at myself because I was using the wrong color. But I mean, this is pretty and it still looks good to me. So, but I will make sure in the instructions you know to use Berry Burst, which is this one, and not the Melon Mambo. All right, so we're going to come in. I'm going to add just a little bit of glue. Oops, that's a lot of glue on our stem. Then we're going to add our leaves with just a little bit of glue on the back of those. There's really no right or wrong here. Every time you make this, it'll be slightly different because there's no way to ever make it exactly the same. And that's okay, because it's handmade and it's not supposed to be perfect. All right, so I've used all of that. I'm going to come in with some of my mini glue dots because I've used all of the other ones and I don't want to bump the camera trying to get a new package down. So we'll just come in and use some mini glue dots. We're going to lift up this flower. And we're going to lift up the words. Always make me smile. And then we have, this is another one of the die cuts that come with the set. They have one that cuts out 2 flowers, and then they have some that just cut out single flowers. And so I just cut out 3 total. And we are going to use glue dots to add these to the card, because if you use the regular glue, it's going to seep through. So we're going to just put one on each glue dot. These are cut out of cloud cover. And I'm actually going to use my take your pick tool to take it off. So I'm just going to add those. And then we just need to add some of our embellishments. And we are going to use the Berry Burst. This should have been my first clue that I was using the wrong ink color, because these are Berry Burst, not Melon Mambo. But again, all of our colors work together. So we're going to add a small one there. We're just using small ones on here, it looks like. And then we're going to add a large white and a small white. Nope, not a small white, another large white. And there we have it. That card is done. Bloopers and all. And so this one just is what I call a standing up card. I don't know why I call it that, but. All right, so our last card is this one here. Before I can start on it, I need to do a little cleaning of my ink pads. My stamp sets. Oh my gosh. See, I'm all flustered since I messed up on the ink pad color. That was silly of me. All right, so this one uses Just Because. There we go. Now, for this one, we are doing a square card. I love doing square cards. Now, I will tell you, when you make a square card, don't mail it in a square envelope. Because if you mail it in a square envelope, they charge you extra postage. So I mail it in our regular envelope. Don't fold it over. Don't try to make it smaller. Just mail it inside of this envelope and it won't be a problem. But if you put it in a square envelope, they're going to charge you more. So let me move this stuff aside for a second. Get out some more scrap white paper because we are going to stamp the flowers and hope that we have the right color. We're going to use the bubble bath. Yay, it's the right color. And then we're going to come in with the Berry Burst, which is the correct color now, to add our flower centers. Isn't that pretty how it just gives it that little contrast? It's so pretty. And then we also need to stamp our words, and this is from that Stylish Shapes die set. One of my favorites, where you're going to use the Just Because and the Berry Burst. And just because I have some OCD, I'm going to close up my ink pads a little bit here. I like to make sure they stay nice and juicy. And if you leave them open for too long, you could dry them out. And then we just need to cut out our flowers. So go ahead and prep it by getting the dye on here. Bring in my machine. And we're gonna make our sandwich. And just run that through. This machine is great too if you're right or left-handed. I'm actually right-handed, so it probably looks weird that I'm using my left hand, but you can actually use it both ways. And you can go in both directions with it too. So there's that. And we are ready to assemble. This is a pretty easy one. So for this one, we are using the back side of the flocked piece. So this is the side that's flocked and this is raised, but we're going to use this side and we're going to mat it. So this is 4x4 and we're going to mat it on a piece of 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. And then it's going to go, the card base when it's folded is 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. So oh my goodness, got ahead of myself. I still need to stamp the stems. You know, did I mention it's kind of a dreary day today? And maybe that's what's messing me up. I don't know. So we've got our stems. We have our Peaceful Pine ink pad. That is our linen ink pad. We're gonna just stamp the stems. Put our ink pad back away. using this die. Bring our machine back over, make our sandwich, and run this through. Now we're ready to assemble, now that we have all of our pieces. So because we are going to adhere this flocked side down to this cardstock, instead of using our glue, I'm actually going to use our stamp and seal. I just feel like it will adhere it a little bit better. You could probably use our glue. I just think this is the better choice. The only thing with using the stamp and seal is that you kind of got to get it right the first time, because you can't really lift it up and move it if you don't get it right the first time. But now we can come in and use our regular glue, our 5 dots. I had somebody once ask me, does that really work? And it really does. You don't need more than that. That goes on there. Our circle is going to be put on the card using dimensionals. Sometimes I find these smaller dimensionals can be a little more challenging to get the backing off. We're just centering that on our card. And then we're going to add our stem by using just a little bit of the glue. Oops, moved. There we go. The flowers we're going to put on using dimensionals, just to lift them up a little bit off the page. And then we just need to add our embellishments. So we have some more of these flowers, and we are coming in with the Berry Burst, which is the correct ink pad color. And if you can't make fun of yourself, then, you know, you're not living life. You gotta be able to make fun of yourself. And there we go. That's the last card. That's card number 4. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment. Let me know. I am offering an ordering special. If you place a $40 order on my website before the end of May, which I believe is Sunday, then I will send you all of the pre-cut supplies to make 2 of each card. It will not include any stamped images, but it will include like all of the die cut pieces. So it will include like all of the die cut pieces as far as, it will include all of these die cut pieces. I will die cut these pieces in white cardstock, but they will not be stamped. So you could get away with just purchasing the stamp set and finishing these cards. I recommend you get both the stamp set and the dies because it's a better deal. You get 10% off if you do that. But again, that's totally up to you. You could just get the stamp set. The colors that I used, again, the correct colors are Peaceful Pine, Crumb Cake, Bubble Bath, and Berry Burst. So, and if you do get this, I will send a sponge dauber as well so that you have it for that one card. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching and have a great day.